If you have ever stared at Zapier's pricing page or watched a 45-minute n8n tutorial that built nothing real, this is the antidote. The next 12 minutes, we build a working automation from zero. No course pitch, no fluff. Workflow JSON in the description. n8n is open source. You can self-host it for $5 a month. It is the closest thing to Zapier you actually own. Every blue box on the canvas is one step. Triggers start the workflow. Actions do things. Connections pass data between them. That is the entire mental model. Once you have that, everything else is just nodes you have not used yet. Here is the workflow. Every morning at 9 a.m., n8n calls the GitHub API, pulls a user's profile, extracts the 4 things that actually matter: name, bio, followers, repo count, and gives you back clean structured data. You will not use this exact workflow in production, but the shape of it, schedule, fetch, transform, is 90% of automation. Master this shape and the rest is variations. I am at localhost 5678, self-hosted, free. Click New Workflow top right. Name it Hello World, GitHub Fetch. The big white area is the canvas. Right side is the node panel where you pick what to add. The little play button at the bottom is Execute Workflow. That runs the whole thing once for testing. Critical button. We will hit it a lot. Click the plus. Pick on a schedule. This is what tells n8n when to start. Default is every day at midnight. Change the trigger at hour drop-down to 9 a.m. That is run me every morning at 9. n8n shows you the cron expression underneath. If you know cron, you can write it directly. If you do not, the drop-downs work fine. Save. Notice the node now has a green dot. It is armed. If you activated the workflow with the top right toggle, it would actually run at 9 a.m. tomorrow. We are not activating yet. We are still building. This is the most powerful node in n8n. It calls any HTTP API on the internet. Add it after the schedule trigger. Open the HTTP node. Method stays get. In the URL field, type https://api.github.com/users/Sindressaris. Sindressaris is one of the most prolific open source maintainers. His profile is full of interesting data. You can swap this for any GitHub username. No authentication needed for public profiles. The GitHub API allows 60 requests an hour anonymously, which is fine for our purposes. Hit Execute Step, the little play icon next to the node. Watch the right panel fill up. JSON, beautifully formatted. Login, name, bio, public_repos, followers, created _at, everything about that user. That data is now flowing through the workflow. We have a wall of JSON. In real automation, you almost never want all of it. You want the 4 fields you care about, structured the way your next step needs them. That is what the Edit Fields node, formerly called Set, is for. Add it. Connect it after the HTTP request. One trap I want you to know about right away. By default, these value boxes are in fixed mode. They treat whatever you type as literal text. So if you type expressions with curly braces, they show up as text in the output, not the actual data. The fastest fix is to drag the field name from the left input panel directly into the value box. n8n auto creates the expression for you, and it just works. Click Add Field, type the name, then drag the name pill from the left panel into the value box. Repeat for bio, followers, public_repos. Toggle include other input fields off. Hit Execute Step. Beautiful. 4 lines, 4 values. That is structured data ready for any downstream step. You could now send this to Slack, write it to Notion, push it into a Google Sheet. All of those are one more node away. Top of the canvas, hit Execute Workflow. All 3 nodes turn green. Total execution time, under 1 second. Click on each node to see the data at each step. Schedule fires, HTTP fetches, edit fields cleans. That is the entire workflow. From cron to clean data in 3 nodes and 1 minute of build time once you know what you are doing. Stop and look at what we just built. Trigger, fetch, transform. Most useful automation in the world is some variation of this 3-step pattern. Replace schedule with when email arrives. Replace GitHub with Stripe API. Replace edit fields with send to Notion. Now you have a workflow that pulls every new Stripe payment into your Notion CRM automatically, every time, for as long as your laptop or your $5 server is on. The next video we will hook this up to Claude. Instead of just extracting fields, we will send the GitHub profile to Claude and ask, is this person likely to respond to a cold pitch about open source consulting? And Claude writes us a one-line answer. Real agentic workflow, 10 more minutes. Quick note on running n8n. I am on macOS, installed it locally with npm, node 24, n8n version 2.21. Took about 3 minutes. Linux is identical. Windows works through Docker. For production, you put n8n on a $5 Hetzner or DigitalOcean server, point a domain at it, slap Let's Encrypt on, and you have a self-hosted automation engine running for the price of a coffee per month. Compare that to Zapier's $299 a month plan for the same volume of workflow executions. I am not anti-Zapier. They pioneered this category, but for anyone running their own business, self-hosted n8n pays for itself the first month. Last thing, file menu download. That gives you the workflow as a JSON file. This is your portfolio. Every workflow you build, you export the JSON, commit it to a Git repository, and you have a public proof of work as a builder. I just dropped this exact workflow into my GitHub repo, link in the description. If you got something out of this, the algorithm only knows you watched if you stay for the next 30 seconds. So one of two things, subscribe so the next build hits your feed, or close the tab, fork the JSON from the description, and go build your own variation tonight. Either works. I am out. See you in the next one.